Because, I really wanted to find out who my father was, and for the case not to go how I was planning it, I really thought it was going to go different than what it was, but, well, I really feel like it should have been over with. The first time I heard that Jay-Z probably was my father when I was 8 years old, my mom came up to me and was like, "Hey, Rob, I got something to tell you. That's dad for real. That you don't just say this type of person is your father, Jay-Z." It is important that I know who my biological father is. I don't know how he feeling. Like, I would hope he would think about it.
Child, it looks like there are more skeletons in Jay-Z's closet than we initially thought, because word from the street is he has been working overtime to silence his estranged son, Ramir Satterwhite, and even went as far as threatening to unalive him if he comes out with the truth. Apparently, Beyonce was well aware of this the whole time, and she even told Jay to make sure he kept this under the wraps, or else she'll divorce him if the truth comes out. Ramir has been relentlessly trying to get Jay-Z to do a DNA test, but he keeps running from it every time. The reason Beyonce and Jay-Z are afraid of this mess coming out is because Jay hooked up with Ramir's mother when she was just 16. And if he does the DNA Ramir is asking for, everyone will know he was messing with 16-year-olds. So this mess actually started a few years ago when Ramir came out and claimed that Jay impregnated his now late mother, Wanda Satterwhite, back in 1992 when she was just 16 and still in high school. In a signed affidavit that Wanda herself wrote to the Daily Mail shortly before she mysteriously died, she claimed she and Jay met through a mutual friend. The same night they met, Jay managed to convince then 16-year-old Wanda to sleep with him in his aunt's apartment in Brooklyn. According to Wanda, they did use protection during the intercourse, but the protection broke and she eventually got pregnant with Ramir. She tried to get in touch with Jay over the years, but she wasn't successful. Because of this, she was forced to put in her then boyfriend, Robert Graves, on his birth certificate as his father. However, she was forced to take Robert's name out after Robert found out that Ramir wasn't his biological son. That was when Wanda started seeking for Jay, and she even tried to get him to pay her child support, but he used his connections to get the case thrown out of court. Wanda started fighting him to acknowledge Ramir from then until her sudden death in 2019. Ramir then took matters into his own hands because his mother died trying to prove this, and he doesn't plan to back down till Jay does the right thing. But just like Wanda, Jay has been playing hide and seek with Ramir, and it's because he knows that if it's proven that Ramir is indeed his son, everyone will know he slept with a 16-year-old, which will open the floodgates for his victims to come out, just like what happened to Diddy after Casey came out. According to Ramir's godmother, Lily Coley, Jay actually responded positively when Wanda first reached out to him about Ramir, and they even talked about Ramir's music talent and whether it was a good time to put him on his record label. But suddenly different lawyers got involved and their attitude completely changed. I think they realized there was more at stake for Sean, given that Wanda was allegedly underage. Since then, there has just been a whole bunch of mistakes, oversights, and collusions between our lawyers and Sean's lawyers, which is why we have to fight back. And we're not giving up. In an explosive interview, Ramir says that Jay has been paying lawyers and judges to make sure that this case does not see the light of day, and even accused his own lawyers of being in cahoots with Jay and receiving secret payments from him to sabotage this entire case. Now, when all this came out, a lot of people thought the only reason why Jay was spending so much money and time to make this go away is because he doesn't want anyone to know he was out here getting intimate with young girls. But word on the street is that isn't the only reason, because Beyonce has also been on it the whole time, and she even threatened to dump him if he allows this to come out. In fact, Ramir and his godmother, Lily, have been on a media campaign for some weeks now, and they recently had a heated interview with Liz Crocken, in which they spilled some major tea about the developments of this whole story, and y'all cannot believe the things they had to say.
Why do you think that it seemed that Jay-Z via his people were willing to work something out behind the scenes, and then all of a sudden that stopped? Why do you think that he is refusing to take a paternity test and stopped, working with you all behind the scenes? What was driving that, in your opinion?
Well, part of it was a rumor that was told that he didn't like the fact that this particular case was in the public, and he had a problem with Ramir putting it in the public. which was not Ramir, was his mother. So basically, in a nutshell, I just believe that was a big part of it. He didn't like the fact that it was in public. There was a time that Mr. Carter was trying to resolve the matter in the very beginning, and he was doing it in the best interest of Ramir. And then somewhere he left his heart and started thinking with his head.
Do you think part of it is because Wanda was 16?
Yeah, well, definitely that's the big part of it. The allegations that we have, that the affidavit says that Wanda was 16 and he was 22. That's in Wanda's own words.
Right.
So therefore, yeah, that would be something that would make some people uncomfortable.
Right. Well, it's a crime. But for the record, you did tell me that Wanda told you that she did tell Jay-Z that she was of legal age. Is that true?
Right. She did tell me that she told him she was 18 or something, whatever she told him.
And remember how I said Jay and Beyonce have allegedly been threatening Ramir's life? Lily confirmed this when she revealed that both her and Ramir have been getting followed around and approached by very strange people ever since they made it clear they were not going to drop this case. These people would break into Ramir's house unexpectedly and give him a stern warning to drop the case. It got so bad that Ramir had to go to the police for help several times, but of course, Jay has the feds on his payroll too. So those reports went straight to the gutter.
We had to go to the police about several things. There's people, like you said, came into the property. Some of them knocked on Ramir's window. They wanted Ramir to drop the case. This was early on. There's been a lot of what they call intimidation.
And get this, y'all. Ramir actually tried to do a DNA test online by tracing his ancestry back to Jay's ancestry, but his test was tampered with and he never received the results. Apparently, this was the route that Jay's other estranged daughter, Leticia Macer, who also claimed she was Jay's daughter, took. After several attempts to get Jay to do a DNA test, she decided to do an ancestry test and she traced her roots to Jay's family. Shortly after that, she was allegedly paid off and she didn't talk about it anymore. So Ramir was hoping to use the same method to get Jay to claim him, but Jay got ahead of him and sabotaged the entire test.
But we use ancestry.com and that's basically say they didn't give me my paperwork back. Like, I did the swab and spit in it and then get sent it to them, and when I called to try to get my information, basically it was an error and I never heard of that.
There was an error? They wouldn't give you your paperwork?
Yeah, they won't give me my paperwork from Ancestry.com. Now you have people saying use 23andMe. And I just want people to know, like, the courts got my DNA. So if they wanted to test my DNA, for me just to keep spending all this money, these guys can test it, Jay-Z and them. And I'm just the judges. They have everything they need. So obviously I'm not out of the fight and I won't stop. It's not just about no Jay-Z. I'm not just chasing Jay-Z. That's not what it's about. My mom passed away fighting this case until she was gone. So that's more important to me than anything.
Now, this is where things get even more interesting because according to Ramir's godmother, Lily, Beyonce started acting funny about Jay possibly resolving this issue once she gave birth to Blue. Beyonce was extremely uncomfortable with the fact that Jay wanted to claim Ramir because that would make her look crazy in the public eye since her husband had a whole other grown son without her knowledge. Because of this, she convinced Jay to keep everything under wraps, and that's why this case has been dragged out for so long.
You have told me that you believe that Beyonce may have been one of the reasons why there wasn't a resolution.
I do believe that. Like in the very beginning, they didn't have a daughter, and there was like we were understanding there was complications in getting conceived, etc.
Right.
And I felt like that would make some women, and seem like her with her, she would fit that bill, uncomfortable about him having a fully grown son with a talent.
Right.
So I do believe that she had a problem. If it was true, she would have a problem with the fact that Ramir was in the picture or coming in the picture, because that was a vulnerable time.
Right.
But clearly now, 10 years later, 12 years later, you would think somebody would say, hey, let's just get this out of the way.
Now, for those of y'all thinking there's no way Beyonce would do something like that, well, you might have to rethink that thought, because this is not the first time she has been accused of getting involved in Jay's business and making him do some questionable things. She was accused of telling Jay to unalive his pregnant mistress, Kathy White, after Kathy threatened to go to the blog and tell them everything about her and Jay's affair. This recently came up again after Liz Crocken, the same woman who interviewed Ramir, and his godmother jumped on Twitter and said, when Kanye West says Jay-Z has murders, I believe he's talking about the people who killed Kathy White. What's even crazier is that Liz actually made this tweet all the way back in 2017. She has been looking into Jay and Beyonce for a long time, y'all. Note the date. Hey, Jay-Z, I was the reporter who talked to your alleged mistress right before she died / was deleted. I know everything. I know what you did. Go F yourself. Your time is coming. Maybe you and Diddy can share a prison cell together. Justice is coming. She followed it up by posting the video of Kanye saying Jay-Z had unalivers who were ready to take anybody out upon request.
Hey, God, Jay-Z, I know you got please don't sit about my head. Just call me.
She also said it's only a matter of time before Spirit cooking Jay-Z is exposed like Diddy. There's a reason Kanye said Jay's got murders. I would know. He's evil to the core. I pray there will be justice for Kathy White one day. These false idols will continue to fall. Mark my words.
Kathy White's life was taken unfairly. She actually died screaming. And the Carters are responsible. But one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. Question is, did Sean Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress, because his wife was jealous? Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think? And maybe he just had to clean it up to protect the brand's sake.
At the time of Kathy's death, the autopsy report claimed she died from a brain aneurysm, but people don't believe that at all, and they claim that the forensic pathologist who did the autopsy was allegedly paid by Jay.
Think about Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
So Jack, when you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress,
yeah,
who died of an imaginary aneurysm. Just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the bestsellers list. Who the f was these people supposed to go to? You can't go to the boss because the boss is you. And the boss's boss don't get no f. Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case. Where the f you go when you get f***ed over by the industry? Nowhere. That's where you go nowhere, which is where people like me step in. You right, I go to Diddy parties to walk mother out, cause ain't nobody stopping me when I come. Weirdo. I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever. All I do is frustrate your AI. You can't quantify me. You can't even control your wife. You gonna handle a bitch like me. You can't even control that goofy bitch. You should have did a better job. Maybe she wouldn't have had to lose her mind on Kathy. Cause you ain't protecting you. You're protecting her. Wonder why?
And when it comes to Beyonce divorcing Jay, word on the street is she knows Jay will not be able to hold this together for much longer, and she has already started making moves to separate her brand and assets from him. This is also why she has pushed out so many projects in a short period of time. Within the last year alone, she went on tour, released a movie, a hair care line, released a new album, and is already rumored to be going on tour again. I don't know about y'all, but it's unlike Beyonce to push this many projects out in such a short amount of time unless she knows something is coming that could possibly destroy the influence she has on people. She's trying to cash in as much as she can before everything comes out.
And part of the reason why they're already living separate lives, and we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood, is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed. And it's only so much of these stories that Jay-Z can, he can pay off or he can block. He won't be able to stop this. And she knows it, and he knows it too. As far as who's gonna be the breakout victim / story, I don't know. Yeah, I might have to ask Jason Lee. I don't know. But I'm just letting you know that once that comes out and Jay-Z is exposed for his nefarious past, you're gonna see Beyonce divorce him. Okay? And she may or may not do an interview, but you're gonna their publicist is gonna release something. She's gonna say, oh, the Carters have been separated for some time. They built this beautiful life, blah, 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 blah. Now, before all this happens, we may get another tour. We may get another album out of both of them. I don't know, because at the end of the day, they about their money first. They're gonna do what's best for business first. As far as Beyonce is concerned, do she love him? I mean, he's really all that she knows.
As usual, people had their own thoughts about this, like this person who said, y'all just finding out Jay-Z messes with underage girls? Foxy Brown was only a teenager while under him. B was 16 when they met, and they started dating when she turned 18. Mind you, this man was almost 30. Rihanna was 16. There's so many. Y'all just undermine and making excuses because he's rich. Another person said, I don't know how people are shocked Jay has older children. Like, y'all really believe this man had his first child at 40 with the lifestyle he lived? Come on. Also, if you have nothing to hide and want to prove everyone wrong, take the test. But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about Beyonce allegedly divorcing Jay? And do you think Ramir is really Jay's son? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to click here to watch this other very messy video.